This video is to give you a bit of insight to APA6 style formatting. We're going to start with some general formatting information. Your paper should always be typed, double-spaced, on standard paper, which is 8.5 by 11, with 1-inch margins on all sides. In order to do that, you could go over here to your layout area if you're working in Word, and as you can see here, my margins are all at 1 inch. APA also recommends using a 12-point Times New Roman font, which in your home area you can see right here. So try to stay with that. You could use Cambria, Georgia. Those are acceptable, but Times Roman is the one that's most widely acceptable, so it's probably best to use that. You'll need to have a page or running header with page numbers inserted, and that would be to the right. And if you go to document elements, I believe, yes, right here is where you can put headers, footers, and page numbers in. And I'm giving you an example here up on the title page. So there are 4 major sections to an APA formatted paper: the title page, the abstract, the main body, and your references. The title page is exactly what it says. It's just a page with your title on it, but it will also have a running header, as you can see by this one. Here's the running header. It's a shortened version usually of your title and with the page number next to it. And once you just format it in your Word document, it'll show up on every page for you. You make sure you're double spaced in your title, and it's a little above halfway down the page, and centered. Now for the abstract. This can be instructor's choice. In a formal paper, you will definitely need an abstract. In a less formal paper, it's not necessary. You begin the abstract on a new page. Your abstract page should already include the page header, the running header, which would, like I said, automatically happen if you set it up in your Word document. On the first line of the abstract page, you center the word abstract. No bolds or formatting or italics or underlining, nothing, just abstract. Beginning on the next line, you write a summary of the key points of your research. And I have an example of it right here. So here's your running header, page 2 now. Here's your centered abstract, and then non-centered words. Summary. You can add keywords at the bottom as well. Next, you'll create the main body. This is the writing of your paper and your research. And this will include both in-text citations and end references. And this is really important because during your research, you are going to, well, do exactly what that means. Research. You're going to look at the scholars in the field, experts in your area, and you're going to find information that they have already reported. When you write your paper and you use this information, you need to give them credit. Now, this doesn't mean you copy and paste their information into your paper, because that would be called plagiarism. Regardless if you cite them for it, you can use quotes, which is a little more complicated, and you can find that at the website that I'm going to give you at the end of this presentation. But what you do is you take the information, you put it into your own words, but we still give them credit for the research. So you create an in-text citation at the end of whatever sentence or paragraph you just use their information in. And at the end, we go to the references that reference that citing. I'll explain all of that. So, in-text citations, this is how they work. You always capitalize proper nouns, person's name, a title, and we use their first initial and last name in most of them. In an in-text citation, we just use their last name. If you refer to a title in your citation, you capitalize all the words that are 4 or more letters long. So we don't capitalize and the and but as long as it has 4 letters or more, it's capitalized. We use italics, which is the sideways letters, if it's for a book, like a longer piece of media, and then we use quotation marks for shorter pieces of media, such as articles, song lyrics, things like that. And you'll always include the year of the publication, which will make sense when we go to the references. So here are a few examples of in-text citations. So if we have the author's name, so if whatever article you use, journal, website, if the author's name is present, this is how we do it. And this is what you're going to do most of the time, right here. So we'll say the information you gleaned from Harris's article was that technology is a form of societal discourse. And Harris wrote that, or something similar to that, and so we have to give him credit for that. So we put a parentheses, and we put Harris's name, comma, and the year that he wrote it, and then the period. So you put that within the sentence. So that's all you have to do there. And most of the time, that's what you'll be doing. But let's say there's no author's name, and it's just a website you're using. It's not a specific article. It's just you're looking at a website and you're getting information from it. Nobody's written a blog post or an article within that website. You want to do this. So we'll say this has evidence of an epidemic, and we got that from pubmedia.gov. So we want to give them credit as well. So we put the parentheses, we put the website, comma, and the year. Here's another one that's an article within a website. So here's the sentence that we took from it, and now we're going to put the article's name, and it's in quotes because it's a shorter type of media, so it's an article. We do comma, and 2001 is when it was written, close the parentheses, and put a period. Now let's say there's no date. With no date, we do the same thing. We make the parentheses, and we quote the title of the article, and then we put N period D period, which means no date. Now for the end references. This is now someone's read your paper and they said, ooh, I like what Harris was talking about there. I want to look at more of his research as well. So they go back to your references at the end. They find the name Harris. Now you might have used Harris on several occasions, so they look for the year you said you took his work from, and that's where they'll find the reference that can take them on to more research. So to create end references, all lines after the first line of the reference should be indented, And the author's names should be inverted, so it's last name first and then first initial capitalized. References should be in alphabetical order, and they should always have all the titles in full. So present the title in full. Even if it's a really long title, you italicize it if it's really long, and if it's a short article, you put parentheses around it. Maintain punctuation and capitalization that is used in that article. So if you looked it up and there was no capital for something, keep it that way. You do, though, capitalize all major words in a journal article normally. When you're referencing a book, a chapter, an article, or web pages, capitalize only the first letter of the first word of the title or subtitle. This is unless in that article they do it differently. Italicize titles of longer words such as books or journals. I said that already. And do not italicize or underline shorter works. And here's some examples of those. So for a website with an author, here's the reference. You write the word reference and it's left justified with a colon. You hit the return, which will double space automatically because you formatted your paper to double space, and you put the author's last name and their first initials. This article happens to have 3 authors, so we put a comma, next last name, comma, initials, comma, and piece, comma, D period, L period. And you do it exactly the way they have it in their reference. Then you do parentheses around the year. So now if we refer back to the in citation, the citation within the article, the in-text citation, you can see Smith and you can see 2002 was the year, and we know this is the place you got that information. You can see it's the title, and here's the journal, and they put the pages in, and retrieved from, and the website. And those are indented. So after the first line, we indent. And here's one without the author. So we use the website's title. This is the whole website's title here. There is no date, and there is no name for the article. So we put retrieved from, and we put the website, and it is indented. And here's one more example in case you want to use a magazine. Last name, comma, first initials, the year. And with magazines, we tend to put the month at least because magazines can come out monthly. This may be a daily. This is the New York, oh no, this is the Time magazine. And it looks like it was on a specific day, so they put it in there. It could just be April there, though. And then the name of the article, the magazine that was used, the volume, and the pages it was found on. So those are all examples of references. Now, if you have any other questions, this website right here, the Purdue Owl's website, yes, Purdue the university, and they have a website called the Purdue Owl, and they have a whole list of how to reference and use resources. So if you are confused or you have a question or you have something more specific like quotes, and say you're going to use a comic book, they have everything you can possibly imagine. So just go there. It's a free resource for you to use. Now, if all else fails and you're in a hurry and you want to, well, let me say, kind of cheat, this place right here, this website, citationmachine.net/APA, go there, you put in the title and the author, and it will create the site for you. Now, if you're going to be writing papers for the next 4 years or go to graduate school or get your PhD, I would recommend learning how to cite because it's not as difficult as it appears to be. So it might make more sense for you to actually learn it. Most of the time, you're just going to use the in-text citation of the author's name, comma, and the date in quotations, and at the end you're going to reference them, last name, first initial, the name of the article, and then retrieved by. It's not that difficult. So please try to learn it, and if you're at first a little confused if you did it right, go to the citationmachine.net site and you can make sure that you've done your work correctly. I hope this was helpful. If you have any other questions, you're more than welcome to email me. My email address is S, like in Susan, Cardillo, Cardillo, @piedmont.edu. Thank you.